Well, Sladjivar, everyone. This is Conrad Zen, former Bitcoin Foundation member and now evangelist for Pulse Zen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and Sladjivar. Now, I hope everybody can hear me. If somebody could put a 1 in the chat before we start, that would go down very well, because then I'll know whether I'm actually talking to myself or not. Go down very well. Thank you very much. So, we are in interesting times. We're at war and we don't know it, but we're going to have some war stories to tell in 10 or 20 years' time, that is for sure. And we're at war with the governments. We're at war with the traditional finance gurus. We're at war with all the government institutions who don't want us to control our own finances. This is far more serious than we've realized. Um, when Richard Hart created X, when that came about, I was obviously a proponent for Bitcoin in a big way. And I thought that X was a very interesting protocol because it was the first attempt, really, at providing some kind of interest reward for people who locked up their money for a certain amount of time. And although I thought it was a great protocol, I still do think that it is a great protocol. Don't get me wrong. But I also realized that we needed an alternative. We needed to have some form of very simple protocol that people could get involved with, which was just all about compound interest, but compound interest on steroids. We tried to make it as simple as possible. We looked around at all the other protocols that there were and realized that this one at the time was the best one, and it still is. It follows the principles of KISS, keep it simple. Now, it's not as simple as it should be because it still involves a couple of steps. And if you're not into the protocol at the moment and you're simply playing the crypto mem game, the casino games, then let me enlighten you. This is a serious DeFi protocol. And all it requires you to do is to buy it and hold, because the code is written in such a way that it will distribute rewards to you after every transaction. Everybody joins in. Everybody is a winner, as they say. And we've tried to make it as fair and transparent as possible. Now, transparency is, of course, a double-edged sword because it also means that people can see exactly what everybody else is doing. Chain. And the inferences can be good or very, very bad. So I'm a big proponent of privacy on the internet. Anyway, to go back to what Pulse Zen is, if I can just play you a very short video, and this will probably, you know, really bring home to you what you're feeling and what is actually happening to you right now.
In these tumultuous economic times, it seems harder and harder to get ahead. Even though you have made all the right financial decisions, it's never enough. The problem is not you, it's the system. You see, the system is designed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. The only solution is to break free from this system. Today, you can join a new, growing economy and finally get ahead. This economy is built around a socially engineered token called Pulse Zen, which is designed to redistribute wealth. The truth is that there is no scarcity of wealth. We just need a better redistribution system. Pulse Zen harnesses the power of the eighth wonder of the world, compounding interest. Simply buy and hold Pulse Zen in your wallet, and after each transaction made across the network, your token balance goes up. This is thanks to the Pay It Forward deduction, which takes 2% of every transaction and distributes it equitably to all Pulse Zen holders. No one is coming to save you. This is the way out, but you need to do the work. You have to get educated. You have to take a leap of faith. You have to join the new economy to secure your financial future. Take control of your finances with Pulse Zen. PulseZen.app. Take control of your finances with Pulse Zen. pulsezen.app. Take control of your finances with Pulse Zen. pulsezen.app.
So the thing is, this is as easy as opening up a savings account at a bank. In some ways, far simpler because it's under your own control. There is no middleman. There is no third party involved. Not even me. After creating the protocol, it lives on its own, and it will be there as long as the blockchain exists, which of course it's immutable. Nobody can turn it off. Nobody can shut it down, which is why since the days of Bitcoin, the governments around the world have been crazy to infiltrate the system because they realize what a real enemy to them that self-custody really proposes for the average man in the street. If you don't understand the terminology self-custody, then this is something that you need to learn about. You need to learn about MetaMask, you need to learn about self-custody, you need to learn about a hardware wallet, you need to learn about Pulse Chain and Ethereum and how you actually transact. The other thing that you'll need to do for pulsezen.app is understand what the word slippage means, because on all dexes, you buy or sell with slippage with our protocol. It means that you have to change it yourself, otherwise you won't be able to buy or sell the protocol. Now, we know that this leads to a terrible user experience, but we are working on it and the regulations are coming and it is going to change. But for now, all you have to do is click a button and change the slippage to 5%, as well as all the other things I've just told you. Now, yes, it takes a bit of effort, but everything does. But once you realize that there is an alternative system, that there is an alternative game out there, this replaces savings accounts. It replaces your investment accounts. And it does it in such a way that you don't have to do anything after you bought the protocol. It's all written in the code. Cannot be exploited. 100% uptime. Fantastic founders, a fantastic protocol, no staking, no lockup. The money remains yours to do with as you please every minute of the day. You still get paid compound interest so long as you hold, so long as you play the game, as it were. And the governments hate us. And that is evident in the shenanigans that have been going on. And of course, I'm going to be talking about P-Dai later on. But there is some positive news, and one of them is that we've got a new Ethereum president, if you like. Here she is, the woman who's now taken over the Ethereum as the Ethereum Foundation is the new president. Ayame Gushi. She's Japanese, so she has a Japanese name. Ayame Gushi. She's fantastic. I think she's got a great future. I think she's going to be more looking to market Ethereum, which is going to be great news for the price as far as uh, us as investors are concerned. And the first thing that she's going to oversee is the new Petra update, which is happening next month. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, you know that Pulse Zen is on both chains, Ethereum and Pulse Chain. And the reason that we moved to Pulse Chain was because it's a faster, more efficient, safer, cheaper blockchain. It is a copy of Ethereum. It does everything that Ethereum does, but better. So why would we not have the coin on that chain as well? And we do. And the biggest thing was that the gas fees, the price that you paid for a transaction on Ethereum was always ridiculously high. It wasn't always ridiculously high, but it's got higher. But it has come down in the last few months. And Pulse Chain transaction fees have actually gone up. And with the Petra upgrade, there's lots of things happening. The main one, I think, is the EIP 7702, because that will help reduce fees. Because what that's going to do is, at the moment, what we do is we approve a transaction, we approve a transfer, of the same transaction, and then we approve a swap. This is going to be moved into one batch, which should have the result of lowering the gas fee involved in making any transaction. This is going to make it cheaper. It's also going to enable sponsored transactions, which is a very interesting concept because at the moment, excuse me, you have to have a certain amount of ether, a certain amount in Pulse in your wallet before you make any transactions. Now, there's going to be a programmatic way of trying to solve that onboarding problem. We're also going to get signature verification optimizations, which will also lower the gas. So this is terribly, terribly good news for crypto. There's more to come. These are all the things that are going to happen in the Petra upgrade, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to change a lot of things. But there's more, as they say, because the government has just had its first roundtable meeting with all the heads of crypto to forge the new crypto regulations that are going to be coming in about June. And on the macroeconomic front, we predicted before that rates are coming down. Switzerland, the Swiss National Bank, cut their interest rates as we predicted to 25 basis points. The next cut means that their rates are going to be zero. And everybody's going to be following suit, including the Americans. Jerome Powell is going to do what he is going to be told to do, and that is cut rates to zero. Now, what that means is more money in the economy. What this means is he's going to be told to turn on the printers. We're going to see quantitative easing on the 1st of June. Now, if that doesn't mean anything to you, all you have to look at there is that there's going to be more money sloshing about in the system, and they're going to try and find yield somewhere. And where are they going to find it? Well, if you look at the code for Pulse Zen, if you can be bothered to extricate yourself from the traditional finance system, which is keeping you poor, we're giving away 18% APY. That is coded. And that doesn't include price movements, which could go up or down. We do not know. I mean, look, it is battle tested. We have had 10 million plus AUM. We're down considerably at the moment, but hopefully that will also come back. But there's more good news. It seems that the government has come to its senses, and Tornado Cash is no longer banned. It's no longer on the list of technologies that are sanctioned. The court case is still going ahead, but at least we do have a chance that Tornado is going to be coming back into action, which is another positive. So, overall, things are looking very, very positive. But of course, the story of the week for all of you, if you're in this space already, is the debacle of P-Dai. What the heck is going on with P-Dai? Well, the overall concept is that we want to have a stable coin of our own on Pulse Chain. That's, I guess, not a bad thing overall. Let's have our own stable coin. Let's not bridge over stable coins because we have to use the bridge and all that stuff. Seems to be the safer bet at the moment, but a native bridge, a native stable coin on Pulse Chain is not a bad idea. However, the psyops that you guys have just been through, it's playing this game, is going to go down in the annals of history and will be probably incorporated into the CIA Blue Book. Those of you know the handbook of the CIA and the FBI, to be quite honest, as well. It is remarkable, even after everything that's been exposed this week. Let me give you a brief analogy. We create this pot of money that's going to back pDAI. And because of that, we're going to raise the price to okay? We're going to peg it at $1. How are we going to peg it? Well, we're going to peg it at $1. The problem is, we've discovered that pot has got a hole in it. There's an exploitable piece of code. And at the moment, we don't even know where the hole is, let alone know if we can fix it. And yet people are still dumping money into that pot. This is insanity. Let me take you through this very carefully and in a timeline. Pulse chain. The switch was turned on whenever it was turned on in May, whatever, 2023, whatever it was. I can't even remember now. And that meant that the whole Ethereum state was copied to Pulse chain. That included the programs that made up the MakerDAO. And the problem with that is that the oracles, now I haven't been able to prove this yet. I did write 10 lines of code this morning. Well, actually, about 170 lines of code this morning and ran it several times trying to figure out this exploit. And even with my big brain, I haven't been able to do it yet. But anyway, I digress. You don't really need to know the technical details unless you're a dev. And if you are a dev, you probably know the technical details anyway. So I'm not going to go there, but I will go this far. There is something wrong when we copied over MakerDAO. All the contracts were the source code copied word for word, no problem there. But the other entities, the other things that we are interested in is the who's authorized to do what? Because clearly the people that hold the keys on Ethereum don't have any authority on Pulse chain. It just doesn't work like that. And similarly, the oracles from that moment on became stale. And what that means is that we're running a MakerDAO situation based on collateral where the PUSDC is being thought of as being as valuable as a dollar, as it was on MakerDAO. And that's not actually the true price of PUSDC. PUSDC was worth nothing at the beginning. But here's the problem. Somebody worked out that with the existing vaults, or their existing vaults that they had, they could actually have a lot of collateral on Pulse chain. Wasn't there on Ethereum. Now, I haven't worked out exactly the details of what happened on that day, but somebody knew that that was going to happen. Now, you could say, well, Richard Hart knew because he's the guru and he made Pulse chain. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but Richard Hart was a bit busy at the time. Richard Hart is not a developer. He's not a developer. He's a very smart guy, but he's got other people working for him now. Don't know. Shouldn't say that because the SEC might hear. But they knew, or they should have known, how MakerDAO works. I mean, it is a very complicated piece of software. I can tell you, it's very complicated. And they didn't realize, or if they did realize all the nuances of what was going to happen, they certainly didn't let Richard Hart know. I'm pretty convinced that he didn't know at the beginning what could happen. And so it was only later on that it was found that the number of pDAI that were copied over was about 10 billion. And when they looked again, it wasn't 10 billion, it was something like 20, 25 billion. How did that happen? How could that possibly happen? Well, it did. And it was further investigated and found that somebody was actually printing the pDAI right back at the very beginning. That exploit was known about. This is irrefutable. It's on chain. You devs who've investigated this know this is correct. For those of you who are non-devs, it doesn't matter. It's true. Now, what does that mean to you? It means this. Either we have a situation where one of the devs that worked for Richard Hart was a bad actor, or one of the devs on the MakerDAO side on Ethereum is a bad actor, or a very smart guy, woman, lady, whatever, was a very, very smart actor. You know who I'm talking about. That would be Rachel, Maria, Mr. Varnhagen. And Mr. Van Hagen is a very clever chap. He clearly knows his coding. There is no doubt about that. And I think he managed to cobble, or at least was a part of a group of a cabal of people who realized that they could actually make a lot of money through a idea of promoting pDAI as the stable coin for Pulse Chain. Now, that's a very good narrative. It's a very attractive narrative. And it was very attractive in the way he presented how he was going to do it. He was going to set up the Atropos system. He was going to do a complicated way of liquidity providing through a series of newly created tokens, which would form a subsystem which would attract the liquidity necessary to raise the price of pDAI. The only problem is that pDAI has an exploitable bit of code that has been proven. That is proven. It's not, is it, or maybe it isn't. It is. So let me ask you this question. Would you, knowing that fact, be willing to put money into pDAI on basis that it's going to go to $1 and be pegged, when you clearly have been told, not only by some very smart people, but the developer of Pulse Chain himself, Richard Hart, has actually come out. He's not playing 4D chess or 9D chess. He's a clever bloke, but he doesn't understand everything. And I'm not saying that in any denigrating way at all. Richard Hart is one of the icons of cryptography, and he will go down in history. There's no doubt about it. But there is an exploit. Now, is it the same exploit that happened at the very, very beginning? The one that's just happened, and this is why the debate is going on just recently. Maybe, maybe not. But the thing is, we will never know because we haven't been able to find out or replicate how the MakerDAO system is being exploited. Excuse me. So that means we're back to the same analogy. Are you going to be willing to throw your hard-earned money? And there's a lot of you. There's over 500,000 of you with a lot of money. There's some serious money here, which is and has potential to go to zero, much more than anything else, because there is a bug. It's not a bug, but there is an exploit. And until that is found and fixed, you are putting yourself in extreme danger of losing all your money. It is tantamount to the analogy I gave at the very beginning. You've got a pot, you know there's a hole in it, you know it's going to possibly lose your money through that hole. Are you going to keep throwing it in until it disappears? Or should you extract the money that you have now, get the hole fixed, and then start again? I'm suggesting that that is probably the smarter move. Because right now, you know, even if you look at it and say, well, we can make our own MakerDAO and we can fix the Oracle and we can fix up the code. Why would you do that, knowing that somebody has been able to exploit that MakerDAO code? We don't know how. And until we do know how and we are able to fix it, it's never going to happen. And therefore, until that happens, I'll take my money out. Thank you very much, because I might have some left to put back in when all the dust settles. That is, when all the real details come out. And it is astonishing to me the psyops that has gone on since, because even with the evidence that's been presented that is irrefutably on chain and can be verified by all the devs investigators, including Richard Hart, what the problem is, and it is a problem. Why would you go for the narrative that Pulse Chain, Pulse pDAI even is going to $1? Excuse me. Why would you even risk it, knowing that you are possibly going to lose all of your money? Now, what we're left is a situation is pDAI is not a stable coin. It can never be a stable coin. The only thing it can be is another mem coin. And if you want to dabble and say, okay, let's get this up to $1, then, you know, off you go. We need lots of communities on Pulse Chain. We can't just have one community. We need lots. And if that's the way you want to go, and you know and are aware of all the risks that are involved, then fill your boots. But I'm telling you, it is much more likely to go down than up. And if it does go up, it's going to come crashing down very, very quickly. You have been warned by not only me, you've been warned by Richard Hart. Who could be a higher authority than Richard Hart to tell you, don't do this? Now, the psyops is going to continue. There's no doubt about it. And they are professionals. And I say that with a certain admiration because they have managed to destroy Pulse Zen from what it could have been today. It is going to get there, but it's going to take a lot longer time. And they are spinning the narrative around to continually say that P-Dai is going to be the stable coin of Pulse Chain. And I am here to tell you right here and now, it is not. It is never going to be the stable coin of Pulse Chain. I'm putting my reputation on the line, and I'm telling you, it will never be the stable coin of Pulse Chain. It can only ever be from this point on a mem coin. Absolutely. Because even if the exploit is found, and I'm telling you, that is going to be hard. I've had a look at it. As I told you, I've written 107 lines of code. There's no front end to make it down on Pulse Chain. Of course, it all has to be run from the code, and it has to be done in a certain way, and you have to use all the things. And what you don't know is where are the authorizations? Who actually has the admin keys? How does that all, there's so many intricacies that we do not know. We do not know how the Oracle fits in. We don't know why or how the Oracle became stale. We just don't know those details. And there's lots of guys who've been looking into this. Maybe some of them were able to mint themselves. I thought I had cracked it, and I was extremely worried, and I wanted to get this information out as quickly as possible. But it turns out that it didn't mint, or it certainly didn't mint back to the wallet that I thought it would do. So clearly there's more investigation to do. But like I sort of said this morning, that's not my game. I'm not that interested. What I am interested in is the psyops that is going on that you guys believe even now you're buying more pDAI. It just completely blows my mind, and it really brings home to me that psyops is real. The words are very real. The way they're constructed, the way they use NLP is brilliant. And these are not just trolls, these are trained trolls, or at least paid professional trolls. And I take my hat off to them. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a mention of this by those same people, and they're going to turn it around 180 degrees and say, I said that pDAI is going to be the stable coin on Pulse Chain. And you lot are going to believe that I said, oh, yes, it's going to be the stable coin on Pulse Chain. That is how good they are. And so what I'm going to say is good luck to you. I cannot say any more except stop buying pDAI. Now, pDAI by itself is not the problem in actual fact. What is the problem is that the pairing of pDAI, the liquidity is what the real problem is. Because if nobody ever paired anything with pDAI, it would be just as worthless, as it should be. It is another guy, Maria, willingly or not willingly, brought this to the fore because he convinced you through the Atropa system to actually provide liquidity in the form of real assets. And if you hadn't done that, if you hadn't paired all of these coins with real liquidity, none of this would be happening right now. Now, I can understand why you would want this narrative to work for you. I can understand why, if you did think it was going to work and you put in a lot of money, you are going to look in disbelief at what I say, what everybody else is telling you, because of copium, not really realizing that your money's gone. It is definitely going to disappear, and you don't want to face those facts. And, I understand that, but that is what is going to happen. And so there we are. That's my little rant on it. This is not to diss anybody. This is just to give you the facts of what you need to know before you go anywhere near P-Dai again. Enough said, because we at Pulse Zen are going to win this war because we are for the people. This is a serious war. It's more serious than I thought, to be quite honest. Our teeny weeny little ecosystem has caught the attention of some people who want to see it disappear. It all started, of course, when somebody gave a incorrect piece of information to Richard Hart and he blurted out online that it was a scam, not knowing, of course, that it sincerely was not ever going to be a scam. I'm here the same as him. I'm not in it for glory. I don't want any glory. But the fact of the matter is, I made it. I'm fine. Thank you very much. I don't need any more money than I have. But you guys might want to do this. You guys want maybe to have a 52 a year, 52-week a year holiday. I don't know, whatever you want to do with your life. But it's not going to happen in the traditional system. And by using trusted, known protocols, you might just get there. But if you believe all these other narratives, well, that's on you. It is a very difficult situation in that, crypto is the highest appreciation asset class that there is. And because of the nuances of coding in Solidity, etc., there were no schools to teach you how to program like this. This is why young kids excel very, very well at this because they can actually go and teach themselves how to do this. And the really good ones are working for really reputable companies. I hope Richard Hart has managed to pay some of these people to expand the ecosystem and to restore faith in the ecosystem, which I'm sure it will. We are going to see Pulse Chain as being the preeminent blockchain out there. It might take a little while after all this stuff that's been going on. It's just relentless. It's a wonder the chain ever exists at all right now. But the big thing is you have to keep the faith. You have to understand that it's not the code, it's the bad actors involved in shilling you bad code and shilling you all this rubbish. It's their fault. They do it deliberately. They know. And they are very good at convincing other people to come into their so-called communities where you provide the exit liquidity. Anyway, I've got to go for dinner now. Sun's going down. Thank you very much for watching. I'll just say hello to a few people if I can. Hope you can hear me above this blinking hurricane that's going on out here. Okay, da 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 da. Red Hulk number one. Oh, Red Hulk 81. I'm very sorry. Number one coin, PZ. Absolutely. Kevin, hello to you, Kevin. Yes, let's build this community up to where it should be. Peace Puff, what does he say? How's Pulse Chain looking? 2026. I sacked for both and forgot about it. Excuse me. I think by the end of this year, we're going to look very, very rosy. Everything on the outside, macroeconomics, excuse me for my voice. I've had an injection in my mouth. We are seeing macroeconomics going our way. We're seeing the US government going our way. We're seeing crypto regulations going our way. Everything is looking rosy. If I can just show you, actually, this is an interesting thing today. It's very important to see. Hang on, I think what is going on here? Interesting. Okay, I do have to show you this. I do have to show you. Hang on. I don't know. Can you see this? I wasn't going to share anything today, but this is really interesting. Since I've been chatting we've had $500 million come into the crypto market, excluding BTC. So overall, things are looking very, very rosy. And you've got to understand that Richard Hart is a really good guy, and he will sort this out. I'm absolutely convinced. So things are looking really, really good. Okay, so thank you very much for the questions. I've said my piece. It'll be very interesting to see the increase sign up for the 180-degree version. And all I can say is, well, I told you. Anyway, to the Pulse Zen community and future community, I wish you Slanjivar, and I hope you are having a great day or have had a great day wherever you are in the world. So Slanjivar, and I'll think of you all over dinner.